NHL Tonight continues. Adnan Burke alongside Steve Conroy and Mike Motto. Here's how it looks right now in the Western Conference playoff picture. So the Golden Knights are at the head of the class, but it's very tight. Ducks and Flames behind them. The Preds, Blues, and Avalanche in the Central. And then the wild card, the Edmonton Oilers, thought to be one of the elite teams, and yet there they are clinging right now. The wild card spot just 1 point up on the Jets and the Kings. Then you got the Sharks and the Canucks, who have been surprising with our man Bruce Boudreau. As far as Edmonton is concerned, yes, Connor McDavid without, and obviously not having that transcendent talent will hurt you. But the Oilers losing to the Maple Leafs on only 2 games in the schedule, 4-2 is the final. That's raising lots of concerns right now in Edmonton. Leon Draisaitl, though, back in his head coach.
I think that, a lot of times when a coach gets fired, it's because his team quits on him, but I don't see any indication of that with you guys.
Yeah, no, we're not quitting on anyone. We're not quitting on our coach. We're not quitting on ourselves as players, our team, our goalies, nobody. We're not quitting. Still lots of season left, right? But it's frustrating. Eventually, you have to find a way to turn it around, and obviously, we're hurting right now with key players out. That never helps, but every team's going through that. So, we just gotta figure it out eventually.
You have to figure it out eventually. Right now for Edmonton, it's awfully frustrating, Steve. You say to yourself year after year, you've got McDavid, you've got Draisaitl. The goaltending has to improve. This year, Koskinen and Smith have been inconsistent. What's happening lately right now for Edmonton that concerns you most of all?
Well, McDavid being out, but we know he's eventually going to be back. It's just a lack of secondary scoring. And, you just look at the numbers, and we know Draisaitl and McDavid lead this team in point scoring. But then all of a sudden, it's a 30-point drop. Literally, I guess it's 27 points down to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. So there's a huge gap there. They've got to find secondary scoring. I think the back end probably needs a little bit of work. I know they brought in Duncan Keith, and, Bouchard's playing really well as a youngster. But you hit the nail on the head. Goaltending has got to get better. And I know Mike Smith's been injured at times, but when he's been in, he's not looked good. Koskinen does not look like the same type of goalie he was early in this season. I think confidence is a factor with him right now, too. So there's a lot of different bases to be touched there. And I think all of them are contributing to the slide we've seen from the Edmonton Oilers, Mike.
Yeah, they had that great run. It wasn't sustainable, but, building out from the goal, Koskinen, with the drama that was, kind of circulating around the dressing room, that just can't happen. You get a pull together. I think Leon Draisaitl did a great job at stepping up and kind of deflecting it, but collectively they have to come together. And on the back end, I feel that the D need to deliver the puck on time. A little bit more to those forwards. You see the forwards getting speed, McDavid in particular, but delivering the puck on time is very, very, very important. When you have to move the puck up the ice, and that secondary scoring that big drop-off is one of the major keys why they're not, producing.
Yeah, and it's not always fair to put it on the head coach. Having said that, when we've seen coaching changes, that can ignite a team like our buddy Bruce Boudreau with Vancouver right now.
It's happened in a lot of different places. Mike Yeo, it didn't happen right away. Dave Lowry currently on a little bit of a winning streak. They call it the dead cat bounce, and it's typically where teams really respond because, maybe it was the coach, it wasn't us, and maybe guys looking in the mirror figuring that we got a coach fired. Dave Tippett's a great coach, but do they need to hear another voice? I think it's still a little too early. I wouldn't pull the trigger just yet. They're still in a playoff spot, but they got to get out of this real quickly because they've got teams breathing down their necks right now.
Yeah, and it's awfully tough right now in that Western Conference. The way the Vancouver's been surging, even the Sharks have been surprising. If Edmonton's not careful, Mike, they could get passed by a couple of these teams. If they're missing the playoffs, that's a huge disaster.
Yeah, this is a stretch where they need to I talked about it last night. It's the slide. When you're on a birdie train, meaning you're getting a lot of minuses, it just doesn't stop overnight. You have to kind of slow it down, stop the train, and get it going the other way. These guys have to figure it out quickly because their teams are nipping at their heels.
No question.
I've never been on a birdie train. What's that like? I'm on the bogey train all the time.
Well, as far as the hockey comparison, when you get in the minuses and you just can't get out of your own way. So it happened to me quite a few times.
I feel it's like Tweety Bird when you're kind of seeing birds above your head. That's what the birdie train is like. Not a good place to be for the Edmonton Oilers. 2-9-2 in their last 13 games overall.
An end result, but can you assess your team's compete level tonight and how you thought you guys played against Toronto?
Yeah, it's good to compete. I guess it could have went either way after the second, but yet we're standing here leaving again, no points.
I mean, is there any way you can express the exasperation that you're going through right now? Can you see that there's going to be a better days down the road, or does it take anything in the spirit of the moment right now?
You hope that there's better days ahead, but it's frustrating. No one wants to lose. Been losing for a long time now, so eventually, it's time to win, right? So, yeah, just leave it at that.
Yeah, just.
I'm sorry.
I mean, there's been a lot of speculation about, the coach of this team, and I think that, a lot of times when a coach gets fired, it's because his team quits on him, but I don't see any indication of that with you guys.
Yeah, no, we're not quitting on anyone. We're not quitting on our coach. We're not quitting on ourselves as players, our team, our goalies, nobody. We're not quitting. Still lots of season left, right? But it's frustrating. Eventually, you have to find a way to turn it around, and obviously, we're hurting right now with key players out. That never helps, but every team's going through that. So, yeah, we just gotta figure it out eventually.